The ONDCP will boast new powers with the amendments made to the passing of the Office of National Drug and Money Laundering Control Policy Act 2012. Larissa Francis tells us more.
The amendments were tabled in the Senate on Wednesday. Head of Government Business in the Upper House of Parliament, Senator the Honorable Al Court, says the amendments aim to make the work of the office more comprehensive and strengthen the reach of the organization. Court says it will lead to the organization gaining more power, as they will need in these trying times when human trafficking and money laundering and fraud are on a high.
And the idea of this amendment, Madam President, is to expand the scope and function of the ONDCP and to expand that scope and function to include three other very important areas. The first being trafficking in persons under the Trafficking in Persons Prevention Act of 2010. The other being migrant smuggling under the Migrant Smuggling Prevention Act of 2010, and the third being the whole issue of firearms, illegal firearms and so forth, which would be offenses under the Firearms Act. So this is what this amendment is seeking to do.
However, leader of the opposition ALP Business in the Senate, the Honorable Gail Christian, said she's not in favor of so much control being given to one organization. Christian says there should be a memorandum of understanding between the police force and the ONDCP, as they both security agencies who investigate crime. She calls for a standing committee to be put in place.
The 2003 legislation speaks to the House of Representatives establishing a standing committee to deal with matters concerning the operation of the ONDCP. I think it would make sense for us to look towards the establishment of that committee, because though it is a simple piece of legislation, the question still begs, what is the justification for it?
In rebuttal, the Minister of National Security says talks have already begun on the establishment of an MOU with various security agencies, along with a standing order committee to oversee the function of the ONDCP. Senator Malika Parker says the amendments should have been made for some time now, as the country has been scrutinized by many over the years. Parker says it shows that the government is putting the necessary mechanisms in place to protect the country's name and the people.
Our country, has been on many lists: black list, white list, gray list, red list, blue list, because we have over the years developed a reputation for harboring certain elements that foster a certain level of criminal or at least unsavory activity that the people of this country would otherwise not wish to be associated with. And so, in my mind, any move to strengthen an arm of government or an agency to effectively police these sort of activities and to manage the fallout, when and if they do occur, or at least in terms of international standing, to give this country the appearance and the recognition that we have in fact taken steps in law to mitigate these sorts of activities.
The other UPP senators were all in favor of the amendments and view the ONDCP Act as a non-controversial bill.